Okay, guys, I think we are live now.
Hi all. Hi. I think we are live now. Good to see a lot of people who have already joined us, and I hope this is like a very interactive session. Keep asking your questions. We'll try to answer all the questions that are asked.
And when you're posting your profile, we'll try to answer as many profiles as we can. We'll try to answer the profile evaluation pretty quickly. I want, if possible, a standardized format where you tell us how much you scored in your 10th score, 12th score, your undergraduation score, and your work ex. If you are an engineer or a non-engineer engineer, whether you're a male or a female, and maybe if you have any category or not, then it will help us quickly decide on the profile and go to the next one. That is basically the format that we are looking at. We'll start off with I think the first one is by Anjali Gupta. She got 92 percentile in 10th, 64 in 12th, BTech CSC of 9.02, work of 28 months, OBC. Please tell me my chance of getting calls from top IIMs. I think your profile is good. It is pretty good. The only issue is your 12th score, which I think is slightly on the lower side. So that will impact some of the colleges, but it will not be a deal breaker. I think you also have certain things which are good. For example, you are a female, so you'll get some gender diversity points. You are also, I think you'll benefit from the category also. So all of these things combined, I think you have a pretty good chance. If you score about 98 percentile, you'll get definitely shortlist from many of the institutes. If you can increase it to 99 plus, you should get most of the shortlist.
Yeah, so the next profile we have is of Tariq Khosla. So he is, I'm assuming, a general engineer male, and so he has a 877 profile. Workex is 3 years. So for you with 3 years Workex, it would be slightly easier, not very easy given it's a gem profile, but slightly easier. I would think that it would be 99.8 plus. And for LK, this is for old IMs. For new, like for LKIM, it will be 99.6 plus as such. For the new IMs, it will be slightly even lesser, 99.4 plus also. So I would say that focus on your CAT score, because for you as a general engineer, I'm assuming engineer you have not mentioned, but if you're a general engineer male, it would be you need like 99.5 plus as such. If you're non-engineer, whatever the values that I've told, you can basically deduct about zero point 0.2 percentile from that, given that you also have work experience.
Okay, the next profile is that of Varun Gupta. He got 70.3, 88, and 80.49, CGP of 8.8. Engineer, male, NCOBC, 1 year work ex. What percentile would be required for Tier 1 universities? I think your score in 12th and your engineering is pretty good. You're also, you'll benefit from the category. You have 1 year work ex. I think the work ex is slightly on the lower side, but it is fine. Especially the only stark thing is your 10th score, which again is not terrible. 70, I think, is fine. You got 788, which is not a bad profile at all. So I would expect you to score 99 plus. I think to get to start getting some shortlist, because you have the NCOBC category. But to be on the safer side, target say 99.3. Then I think you should get most of the shortlist. Overall, I think your profile is pretty good. Especially, I'm impressed with your CGPA and your 12th score. So both of them are pretty good. So focus on doing well in CAT.
Yeah. So next profile we have is of Venkata Vamsi. So he's currently studying BSc. So I'm assuming when the this will be there, you will have no work ex. But 10th you have Corona passport. So I'm assuming that it is like a pass fail kind of thing. You don't have like a score, but there would be some score that you have to give. Assuming it is like say 8, the remaining two things are 8 and 7. So with that you will need, if you are because you're non-engineer, it would be like say 99.6 plus for the top IMs, and say 99.2 plus for the other new IMs as such. You have a fairly okay profile. Given that you are non-engineer, it will be slightly easier for you, but not much easier.
The next one is Hariharan, non-engineer male, 10th 77.07, 12th 81.92, UG AC3 CGPA 7.46, NCOBC with no work experience, full-time preparation for CAT. Hariharan, one thing I would strongly recommend is don't do this full-time preparation for CAT. CAT is not a very difficult examination. It is not rocket science. It is not an examination like JEE. You can easily prepare. You have 9 months left. Even if you prepare for 2 hours or 3 hours every day, that is more than sufficient. So it doesn't require you to prepare full-time. On the other hand, having a job will ensure that you have some work ex points. You will have less stress on the day of the examination. So those are things I would recommend you to focus on. Because if you're sitting at home and preparing, by June, July, you will start burning out. You will also feel very anxious. It is still just February. Try to find a job. If not a job, at least find some internship, something to do, because just sitting at home and preparing for CAT will not be how it is in your 11th or 12th when you're just sitting at home and preparing for some examination, because now the expectations from not just your parents but even from the society will be slightly different. So that is something that I would really recommend people to not do. Don't sit at home and prepare for CAT. It is not good for your mental health. Having said that, if you want a profile review, I think your 12th score is good. It is 81.92. Any score above 80 is a good score. Your CGPA is 7.46, which is by standalone, it is a good score. But your 10th score, I think, is slightly on the lower side. Anything below 80 is not ideal. So your profile will be 787, which is okay. You have the benefit of NCOBC, that the category will help you a little, but no work experience is not good. So I would say you'll have to score something like 99.5 to get good shortlist. But you can help yourself by gaining some work ex points so that the required percentile will decrease.
Okay. So I hope you guys are we'll try to answer as many of your questions. One small request from our side, please like the stream. It helps us reach more students. It motivates us to do more of these streams. Okay. And we'll try to answer all of them. So even if you have not come to your profile, we'll come to it eventually. And so next profile I'll review is that of Priya. She has 98, 99, 97 and 8.5. So excellent ACADS. Priya, firstly, very well done when it comes to ACADS. You have done very, very well, and you are in the 8th semester, it's ongoing. So I'm assuming, so because you'll be just graduating, there'll be no work experience, but that is fine. You have NCOBC female, so that does give you a bit of an edge, because it's both NCOBC as well as female, both will give you slight edge. Plus you have stellar ACAD. So I would think that if you have anywhere above 99.1 percentile plus, you will get even the old IIMs. The new IIMs, baby IIMs, you will get even at 97. But with your profile, with the fact that you have done so well in your like everything, like all your entire acads is so good, I would say aim for the old IIMs, because at 99.1 also you will get it, and it's very a reasonable target as such. It's not a very difficult target, not an unreasonable target, and you have every chance of converting that. So best of luck, prepare well, you will definitely get into the old IIMs if you work hard.
One thing I would recommend and request all of you to do is, anybody who has installed the Krakow app, where we are giving free daily targets on a daily basis, please do update it. We have recently launched a revised version with a lot of additional free stuff. So just go to the Play Store, Google Play Store, and just update the Krakow app. If you have already had it, also please update it to the latest version, because it is definitely much better. So the next one is from Dhananjay. His profile is pretty good. 93 in 10th, 89 in 12th, 89 in undergraduation. He's an engineering bill, NCOBC fresher. I think your profile is pretty good. All of them are 988 with very close to actually 9, even in 12th and undergraduation. So that is a fantastic score. You'll also gain from the category of NCOBC, but you're an engineering male, so that will definitely set you back a little. All these things considered, I think as a fresher, you will not get any points from WorkX. All things considered, I think if you target 99 plus, you'll start getting some shortlists. Maybe 99.5, you should get nearly all the shortlists. So work hard. It is definitely up to you. As you're a fresher, I'll just repeat what I said earlier. If possible, try to get a job and start accumulating the WorkX points. Because if not this year, if you get into a good IIM this year, that's very good. But if say you have to take CAT again, then your WorkX points start really adding after say 2 or 3 years.
Okay. So the next profile we have is of Omkar. So Omkar has 877. So fairly decent profile, a solid foundation. On top, he has EWS, non-engineering, BSc Agriculture, a fairly good undergrad also. 2 years work experience, percentile to target. See, with your work experience, with the fact that you're non-engineering with EWS, and you have a fairly decent background, academic background, I would say that 99.1 percentile plus would also be good enough for getting the old IIM calls. I would also say that given that you have a undergraduation in agriculture, you should also consider the ABM courses for the from the top IIMs. Those are available to you. Those are open to you. They're not open to everybody. So that is also a avenue that you should consider. Again, I would say that if you get 99 percentile plus, all old IIMs will be open for you. You will also have access at 97 percentile plus, also you will get access to like the LKIM and Shillong also. So you have to if you really want to do well and get into the old IIMs, it's 99 percentile, it is doable. At even 97 percentile, you will get a fairly good college.
The next profile is that of Nivin. He scored 96 in 10th, 86.5 in 12th, and 7.2 CGPA in undergraduation. He has 41 months of work ex with 1 year gap in between. Let me first clear the elephant in the room. 1 year gap in the middle doesn't matter. If you have 41 months of work ex, people are only going to consider your 41 months of work ex. The gap year will play absolutely no role. So that is the advantage. The second thing is your 10th score is very good. Your 12th score also is pretty good. Your CGPA is slightly on the lower side, but it will definitely be counterbalanced by your pretty good work ex of 3.5 years, which is an ideal state. Anybody whose work ex is between 3 to 4 years, in my opinion, is the ideal number of months of work ex to have. So all of these things are pretty good. You haven't mentioned whether you're an engineer or a non-engineer, whether you have any category or not. So I'm assuming that you're a general engineer male. With these things, with your profile, I think you'll start getting some good shortlists. If you're considering institutes like say FMS, MDI, all of them also, once you cross 98 percentile. But if you're looking for the top IIMs, maybe you'll have to target 99.5 plus, which I think is not very difficult if you start putting in the effort from now on. Because somebody who has scored 96 percentile in 10 can definitely aim to score 99.5 in CAT. So work hard, be optimistic, and be positive. Start believing in yourself, then you'll actually work harder.
Okay. So the next profile is of Gauri, and one small request: I see a lot of people are there on the stream, but not a lot of likes. So please like the stream, guys. So Gauri has a very good academic profile: 10th in 10 CGPA, 88.4 graduation 9. So fairly good good profile as such. General engineer female. So is IMA possible? Is her question. So yes, it is definitely possible, but the only thing that I feel slightly concerned about is the fact that you have no work experience. One thing I'll tell you is that you will get, if you want to get into IMA, you will get a call even at 99.3. Given that you have a fairly strong academic base, you have done very well academically overall, you will get a call at even 99.3 or 99.4. But converting it would require some more effort. So I would always say that if you have already graduated, for those who are in the last year of graduation, it is one thing, but for those who have already graduated, Gauri has graduated in 2024, try to get some work. If you are able to get full time work, excellent. If you're not able to get full time work, if you're able to get part time work, that is also okay. Freelancing, internship, volunteering, do in that order. Try to do something with your time, because one thing is getting the call. You will get calls from IMA fairly, given that your academic background. If you do even decently well in CAT, you will get the calls, but converting it is also one more thing, one additional step that is required. And to convert it, you need some amount of work experience, you need to have something to speak about, and you need fewer things to defend. So I would say that if I was in your place, I would try to find some job to do, because you have a fairly strong profile. So you should do everything in your power to actually make it to IMA, where you are, because it is like imminently possible that you can get into IMA if you have the, if you do everything in your power to actually get there. You can definitely get there. You have a fairly strong profile, you start off with a very good base already. Okay.
Okay. The next question is by Charizard. He's asking, sir, is the remaining time sufficient to score 99 plus in CAT? See, your percentile in CAT is dependent also on how well you're doing now. What I would tell you is, if you're a normal person, suppose you have scored something like say 70 percentile in CAT, from 70 to 99 in 9 months is definitely possible. That much I can assure you. I've actually seen that happen to multiple students who were enrolled to Krakow earlier. So whenever somebody does well, somebody uses the Krakow course and somebody does well, many times I get a mail from them thanking us that our course helped them quite a lot. So many times I touch base with them. Many times I try to ask them, okay, what happened, how did it work out, what did they do, all of these things I actually ask. So I actually remember, I think last year or 1 year back, there was one student from West Bengal. He scored 70 percentile in CAT and he enrolled to our course, but he was super diligent. Every day he would do whatever was mentioned in the course on a consistent basis. And I used to see him, I used to meet him also pretty regularly in the chat. He used to be a person who used to ask us a lot of these doubts. And his name was also very familiar to me, just because he was very, very active and attentive in the classes. Now, after the examination, his percentile was 98 point something. Now his percentile has improved from 70 to 98. The only thing he has done is diligently work on a consistent basis. So if that has worked out for him, that can work out for anybody. And he finally ended up in IIM Kozhikode. He's currently a student in the second year in IIM Kozhikode. So he is a living example that it is possible to go from 70 to 98 or 99 percentile in just 1 year. So it is definitely possible. You have to just work hard consistently. He was a very hard worker. He was very consistent, very diligent. Every single day he would finish whatever we asked him to do. So if you do that, there is nothing that is stopping you from getting a very good score.
Okay. So the next profile that I have is of Dhananjay. Dhananjay is 93, 89, 89. So very good profile. Engineer male, NCOBC fresher. So I don't have any extracurricular how to build profile. So firstly, I would say that you have a fairly good profile. You have a very decent academic background. Plus you are NCOBC. So I would say that anything above 99.3, 99.2 should be a fairly good score to get into the old IIMs also. 97 plus would be good enough for the new IIMs, baby IIMs, etc. Now, how do you actually build extracurriculars? How do you actually build your profile? What I would say is that try to find areas that are of interest to you. So for example, if you have interest in sports, try to actively participate in leagues, any kind of thing where it would actually involve you going and playing, so you can get a certificate of that. There are sports which still give you certificates, like for example chess, there are like competitions, there are competitions of many things as such. So try to see whether you can play sports which where you can get a certificate. Another one is like toastmasters, where you can like learn public speaking also. Your profile will improve, you can also improve your ability to speak, ability to present, etc. That will also help you. So think of what is your interest and try to find extracurriculars within that. Volunteering also helps. If you volunteer, do volunteer work for NGOs, etc., that also will help you build profile. If you can go and participate in, like say, case study competitions, business competitions, business plan competitions, that will also help you quite a bit. So think of what is your strength, what could you actually do well in. Is it something that, okay, you're good at presenting, you're good at considering case studies, you're good at speaking, public speaking, you're good at sports? What is your strength, what could you actually do well in? Then focus on that for like a couple of months so that you can build your profile in that particular area. In general also, this is for everybody. This is what I tell everybody who actually asks me, that if you are starting from February and your goal is to convert the interviews in the next interview cycle, what should you do? You should do join an NGO, do consistent volunteering work. They know exactly when the interviewer is sitting opposite you, they know when somebody is like lying or like just saying things that they have never done. So if you go to a NGO once or twice, they will know that you have not done any real work. But if you go consistently for like 10 months, they will know that you are serious about that NGO. And that kind of commitment also is something which is good when it comes to a potential candidate. If somebody is consistent with their work, if somebody is consistent with showing up, that's a very good sign from the perspective of the interviewer. They will think that this will be a good student, this guy will be a good MBA student, because he will show up. He has showed up for a year for that NGO work, then he will show up for classes also. So all of these signs are signs of sincerity, and everybody should do it. I would say that if you have time, Saturday Sunday is slightly free also, right now it would be free for a lot of people. Go and do some volunteering work, particularly in places which will give you certificates. Okay.
Okay, there's one guy, Shubham. He is saying that I gave my IIM interview last week. It was a conversational one. They asked questions about WorkX, 4 years, 98, 10 CGPA, 84, 79.11 OBC, okay, and asked few work-related questions, unsure about evaluation. I think your CAT percentile is 98, 4-year WorkX, 10, 8, and I think close to 8 is a very good profile. Now you can't really say how it worked out. That is the whole point, because many times in the interview we feel that the interview went well, but we might not convert it. Sometimes we feel that the interview did not go well, but it might have gone well. So it is very difficult to really evaluate just from my one person's perspective, that is your perspective, how the interview went. I would just say don't overthink it. Many times if it went very poorly, you would know immediately. Many times if you feel that this interview went very poorly, that is something that we can figure it out. But whether the interview went well or not, it is very difficult for us to really know till the results come. Right now, don't let it eat your mind. Don't let it like bring any clarity, any chaos into your head. Just focus on the remaining interviews, and if all your interviews are done, just chill and do something with your time and wait for the results. There is nothing that you're going to get by obsessing over an interview that has already happened. Just hope for the best.
Okay, so Sakshi is asking, sir, 2 year gap here. So her profile is 777. So can you expect IM calls with like gap years with a 777 profile? Yes, you can. So if you have a 777 profile, if you are a engineer female, you would need something which is like 99.3 plus. But if you are non-engineer female, even 98.7 plus would be enough. The gap years don't directly eliminate you from consideration. ऐसा नहीं है कि gap year से minus marks हो जाएंगे. It doesn't matter. What happens is that gap years, people are not able to defend an interview when they ask you, okay, what were you doing? So people are not able to answer that particular question. But if you actually prepare for it, if you know that I have to answer this question, what were you doing for 2 years? If you prepare for it, if you have mentally prepared for it, if you have considered and built a story which makes you sound somewhat reasonable, then you will be able to defend it. So it's not a gap year which will eliminate you. If you still study, if you do well, if you get 99.3 plus, it is even like old IMs are possible. At 97 plus, new IMs are possible. But you have to prepare for answering the question of what were you doing. And I would suggest that since those 2 years gap in work experience is already there, the first thing that you should try to do right now is to try to find a job. Because if you have a job now, the impact of those 2 years is much lesser than if you continue to have a gap. Okay, so first thing, go and try to find some work so that that gap ends. That would be much easier to explain than a 3 years gap. Okay.
Guys, please like the stream. I think we have close to 100 people who are watching the stream live. I want to get to at least 150 likes before the stream ends. One more profile is that of Sai Tarun. He's NCOBC, 10th 10 CGPA, 12th 9.94 CGPA, engineer 8.2. He will have 1 year work ex, no gap years. After July, I'm trying to quit my job and prepare full time. Any suggestions? I would recommend you to not quit your job, Sai Tarun, because normally what I would tell students is if you have already worked for 2 to 2.5 years, then you can quit your job, because then you can even defend in the interview that okay, I worked for around 2.5 years, then I wanted to prepare for CAT full time. But with just 1 year work experience from July, it doesn't really make a lot of sense for you to quit your job, because right now, to be really honest, the market also, the hiring market is not very good. So after CAT, if you don't do well, what are you going to do? So don't, I would recommend you to not quit your job. Work for 1 more year and try to prepare for CAT. It is very good if you are able to convert your CAT this year, because your profile is good. Your required percentile will not be very high. In my opinion, if you score above 98 percentile, you should get most of the shortlist, because you scored very well in 10th and 12th, and even your CGPA. And with NCOBC and 1 year work experience, maybe 1.5 year by the time of CAT, you should not have a lot of difficulty of getting shortlist if you score 98. So don't quit your job. If it doesn't work out well, then maybe next year you can quit your job, because by that time you would already have 2 to 2.5 years work ex. Then I think you can quit your job and even defend it in the interviews. With just 1 year work experience, if you're quitting your job, I'm not so sure it will look very good.
Okay. So Mohit is asking, he has a 51, 63, 65, so 566 profile that is slightly on the edge because your accounts are slightly shaky. But on the advantage plus side, you have non-engineer, you have NCOBC, and you have, one second, it went NCOBC, non-engineer, and you are particularly targeting FMS and IMC. So you're already in the repeaters batch. I would say that that is very good. See, I would say that you should target something around 97 to 98 percentile plus. That would be a fairly good percentile given your profile. You, the only issue is that your academic scores are slightly on the lower side. So, but that is still okay given the fact that it is 65. But with BCom, 65 is different from engineering 65. But still, 51, 63 is slightly on the lower side. That would definitely affect the conversion also. But I would say that focus just on the preparation and your CAT score. If you get 98 percentile or 98.5 percentile plus, right, you definitely overcome the like the handicap of the low scores in your 10th and 12th. I would say the undergrad score will not hurt you that much because it is from a non-engineering stream, but from the 10th and 12th one, it would still slightly hurt you.
Okay, guys, there is one more. This is from This is from Abhay Mishra. 78, 72, 74, BA English Honors, General Non-Engineer. Work experience of around 1.5 years in marketing next year. Okay, I lost it, but I'm assuming that is yeah. Extracurriculars, some certification in marketing, organized events in college. So one thing I want to clarify is that your extracurriculars will not matter till the interview. In the interview stage, you can actually defend it well. Your extracurriculars then start mattering, because the interview will become easier for somebody who has good extracurriculars. Uh, that I think is the only real advantage of having good extracurriculars from an Indian MBA standpoint. Your profile of 777 is good, but not very good, and it could have been definitely better. And but the advantage is that you are a non-engineer, you are a general non-engineer, so, and with around 1.5 years of work experience, I think your targeted percentile should be 99 percentile plus, because your profile is not ideal. So just start working and ensure that you put in the effort. Getting to 99, I think, should not be impossible. Just keep working, and then we will see how it goes.
So the next profile is of Tanay. Tanay is NCOBC BCom, 587 profile, graduated 2024. So Tanay, first things I would say that 8 and 7 in 12th and undergrad are okay, particularly because you're NCOBC and non-engineering undergrad, 7 score is fairly good. But what I would say is that 5 in your 10th standard would still hurt you. I would say that try to get 98.5 percentile plus because of the like the 10th score slightly hurting you. Then you will get like most of the shortlist. But what I would say is that you currently are already on a gap year. You graduated in 2024. You don't have any work experience as of now. But if I were in your position, I would try to get some job. I'm repeating myself many times, but guys, listen to me. Get a job, because it will help you tremendously in converting the calls. Whether you get a call is one thing, whether you convert the call is the second step, it is the bigger hurdle. And to do that, you need something to talk about. So the first priority should be getting full time work. If full time work is not easy to get in your field, that is fine, get part time work, get freelancing work. If that is also not possible, get internship work. Work for some small business also, if that is possible, such that you get like work experience certificate. If all of that is not possible for you, do at least, I would say, do volunteering work, such that it is in person volunteering. So do something so that you have something to talk about during the interview, something to defend the gap year. If you currently have a gap year, that is fine, but don't allow the gap year to continue from this point onwards. Okay.
Okay, there is one profile by Anisha. She scored 91 in 10th, 75 in 12th, graduation 87. So I think your profile is good. 90 plus in 10th, 75 in 12th is slightly on the lower side, but it is not too bad. And again, graduation you scored well of 87. So this is a good profile. NCOBC non-engineer, fantastic. So NCOBC non-engineer plus girl, I think you'll get a lot of points for diversity. You also have work ex of around 2.5 years. Quit job in January, looking for a new job. Should I take a drop instead? Or I am ABC possible? I think because you already have around 2 to 2.5 years work experience, even if you have a gap, it doesn't really matter. So I would say that the only thing you will have to consider is if you're just sitting at home and studying, maybe it will affect your mental health, because it is not just been long, right? You have just been out of job for a month. But imagine how it will be in, say, July or August, when it has already been 6 months. So you have to only consider your mental health. But if you feel that no, I'm in a good place, I'm with my family or I'm with my friends, I won't be like feeling lonely or pained, then I think it is okay. After having 2 to 2.5 years work experience, if you're taking a gap, it shouldn't really matter of say 1 year. So just go full focus, put in the effort. I think with your profile, if you score above 97, I think you should get most of the shortlists. So just do that, put in that effort, put in the hours, and then hopefully results will follow.
Okay. So I have Vipul's profile here. He's a Krakow student, NCOBC 877 BCom, and 27 months work experience. So he's asking, is new and old IIMs possible? Definitely. You have good work experience. You have a fairly decent profile. 877 is not great, but given that you're NCOBC plus non engineer, that's fairly good, decent enough for getting old IIMs also. You will need about, I think, 98.7 percentile plus to get old IIMs. One thing that you have asked is that, will 40-month work experience hurt? In general, 40 months would put you on the top percentile. Like if you consider all the distribution of all the students, I would say that about one fourth have no experience. Then the middle chunk is like half of the class has between 1 to 3 years experience, and 4 years experience is like the top quartile. But still, it is like one fourth of the class would have about like 4 years of experience or more. So it's not that you would be like completely out of place there. It would still be possible for you to get into the old IIMs and get a good job with that kind of with 40 months of work experience. So I would say that would not be a kind of a big problem as such. Plus, with 40 months work ex, you would have maxed out on the work ex months also. So that would also be good. So you would, I would just say that focus on CAT right now. Get 98.7 percentile plus, you would get into the old IIMs also. Okay.
Okay. Let me look at the next question. This is, yeah. Yeah, I wanted to say that we are having this Shivratri sale. So this is for just 3 days. Anybody who's looking to enroll to our Krakow courses, I think these 3 days we are giving a lot of discounts. You can check out the Shivratri sales page, and if you have any doubts with respect to any of the courses, you can just either ask in the chat or you can send us a mail at support@krakow.in. We will get back to you. Now let me look at a question from Sonima Dwivedi. Her profile seems pretty good. 10th 95 percentile, 12th 96 percentile, CGP of 9.5. Female general, currently in BBA final year. Okay. Accenture's job starts in June, July 2025. Okay. Have extracurriculars of 2 years, enjoy experience. I am a possible at what percentile or stick to job? I would say, see, prepare for CAT while working. Don't quit your job to prepare for CAT, because then you have a chance of taking CAT once or twice. If you prepare for CAT without a job, on the day of the examination, you will be under tremendous stress. You feel that if the exam doesn't go well, what will I do? So you don't want to be in that kind of a stress. So definitely prepare for CAT while working, because your profile is excellent. You can't really improve on your profile. And you are also a non-engineer and a female. I think if you score about 97.5, most of the shortlist should be yours. So just put in that effort, believe that you can actually do it, and then I think results will definitely follow.
Okay. I'll take the profile of. Sorry, it just went up. Okay. Of Vinay. Is OBC 887 profile, non-engineer, BSc agriculture, no work experience. What percentile should I target? See, given that you are NCOBC plus non-engineer, I would say 99 percentile plus would be enough to get the old IM calls also. I would say that focus on getting as high a score as possible. Again, no work experience might hurt you a bit, so at least try to get something to do, some internship, something as such. One more thing I would say is that all the students who are BSc agriculture also, like, you can target the ABM courses. They are very good courses, particularly for students who have undergrad in, say, agriculture, food processing, or something which is a related field. Those courses are not open for everybody, but particularly for students who have BSc agriculture and all, you have a real chance because of that. So I would say that consider that, because the cutoffs for that would be lower. I think with 97 percentile also you can definitely get it. So also then old IMs are definitely possible for you with that profile.
Okay, guys. One last thing I want to say is we have built a call predictor tool. You can check it out at krakow.in/I am call predictor. The link for it is given in the description of this video. We submitted a lot of RTIs to get the exact scores for the cutoffs for all the top institutes. And this is a fairly accurate predictor, and we are even updating it whenever we are getting more feedback and more RTIs are coming. So check it out. You need to just enter your profile, your 10th, 12th marks, your work experience, your category, whether you're a male, female engineer. So we take all of these informations, we look it through our system. We have gone through all the admission criteria. Like I mentioned earlier, we also have the data from previous year's cutoffs because we filed many RTIs. So it is a fairly accurate tool. You should definitely check it out. And if you want our feedback on your profile, please do comment your profile below this video. I plan to go through all of these comments maybe in the next 1 or 2 days and get back to each one of them personally. Thanks for tuning in. Please do like the stream and have a good weekend.
Thank you, guys.